once you get kids, it gets a little bit harder to get those 7 or 8 hours, especially when they're young. Because I have a 5-year-old and I have a 2-year-old, so I haven't really been able to enjoy a peaceful night of not having to wake up too often.
Yeah.
And so it's hard. It's really hard. I know I need to try to get more sleep.
Yeah.
Because I remember I used to put a lot more effort into my music stuff because I'll be out all the time. I actually was consistently posting on YouTube. That's how I got to, I think I'm at 3,000 subscribers and everything.
That's crazy. That's dope.
Yeah, and so because I was just posting, I was doing stuff all the time, and it was also I was working from home, so I was able to, in between when I wasn't doing stuff in the military, I was able to fit in recording I was making some music, recording some stuff, and so I was able to do a lot more work. But then at nights is so I wasn't able to get a lot of sleep, but it also had a huge effect on my marriage though.
Yep.
That's been the rough part. That's actually this year where I haven't released. Well, I just released one song in October. Yeah. But why I haven't released and done a lot of stuff is because this year I was super focused on not only because the film director portion stuff that I talked about earlier, but I was super focused on making my marriage better. Yeah. Because it was. I wouldn't go as far as say it was living in an inferno, but it was extremely bad. Yeah. Extremely bad. So. I don't know if we started the interview yet.
No.
Okay. So I don't know. So yeah.
This is from the future. This happened again. I did this a couple episodes ago also. This happened again where I completely at the beginning forgot to show the sample work. So from the future, you are about to see some sample work. I like to show this from every artist. At the beginning of every episode, I like to show sample work from an artist to give you as the viewer context on who you're listening to. So you can understand better what you're about to hear in this. So I hope you enjoy it. That is about to play now. If you would like to get straight to the interview portion, the talking portion, that is the time code is going to be on the screen now.
Just need to say this to ya. Name straight love, how you do? Like the way you like the way you dance. Never on time, got 3 feet on the left. You almost got it right. I'ma take your hands, put your hips next to mine. You got 3 feet on the left, I got 3 feet on the right. See these street words, I call them my face. I experience so much we can take a negativity to heart. Yeah, I'm beautiful and complex like Moses, Sarah, Dali, ooh, Frida, ooh, baby, I'm a work of art. Yeah, I'm a work of art, conqueror like General Arts. Useless sing shifts, now I'm talking about them hips. Welcome to the nippy, baby, get wet when you dip. Get wet when you dip. Welcome, nippy, baby, get wet when you see you dirty dancing in the rain. Call me 3 hearts, triple bypass. Turn right, oops, my bad. Got to hit the U-turn, hear my wheels burn. Thought I was going to church, forgot I was going to work. Man, been distracted by these red lights.
What's up, everyone? Thanks for joining us again on this episode. Here tonight with Trey Love. How you doing tonight, man?
Aloha.
Yeah,
I'm happy to be here.
It's great to have you. We've been trying to get one of these in for a minute now.
Months?
Yeah, 6 months.
March, and then it's it's almost December now.
Yeah.
So it's almost 7 months.
All right, I'm glad you did that math. I didn't want to start counting on my fingers to make myself look like a dumbass.
It's almost 7 months. Yeah.
I know if you're watching this right now, I know if you had to count from March to December, you'd use your fingers also. I know you would not just do that all in your head.
We all have fingers for a reason. You know what I mean? We got fingers for a reason. Use them.
What else besides counting? Yeah. All right, man. So we, while setting up and everything, we were able to have a great conversation.
Indeed.
I'd love to get into all that a bit more in depth. So could you start with just a broad, who is Trey Love?
All right. Look at the camera time. Bow. All right. So Trey Love essentially is... So start at the bottom. when I was born one day, when mommy and daddy, I'm joking. So growing up as a young kid, all my aunt, I was just a nice, lovable kid, and so that's where I got. All my aunts were calling me Trey Love. My first name's Tracy, you know, and so oh Trey Love, just that lovable little baby, lovable little kid that's basically a softie, but all the girls like him. That was me, and so that's Trey Love, and the whole image of Trey Love, image is the right word. The character is the character is about love and ultimately restoration. That's the goal of most of my songs. In some way or form, is talking about love or a form of love and leading towards restoration. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of brokenness in life, a lot of brokenness from ourselves onto people, and just being humans, dealing with humans, being humans. You know what I mean? And so that's who Trey Love. My messaging, my goal is ultimately to talk about love in ways that people understand and feel, but not like love as an action, not just the emotion. Oh, I love you, I want you. Oh, you look. Oh, the one way I described it is so it's like, it's not like just I love you. It's not like, because I don't really write love songs too much. I'm starting to do a little bit more, but we'll talk about that with the marriage stuff. But most of my songs have been a little bit more targeted towards women, and it's not like the I love you, I want to have sex with you type of songs. It's not so I'm in between. I want to have sex with you and I love you, mama. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that in between space of those type of songs is the love I'm talking about. The action of love, the action of loving yourself more. So it's more action oriented type of things I'll talk about. Like one of my songs, if you look on YouTube, the one that actually has the most views is my song's Flex Marks. And that song is specifically talking about loving yourself when targeted towards women, because about stretch marks, birth marks, and just all the different scars on your body. And so that song is really deep diving into, hey, you have all of this, is because it's not like the clean, pretty look, but they're all signs of growth. Stretch marks, signs that you've grown. Scars, signs that you've grown through hardship and you've overcome. Birthmarks, you're born. So it's growth. You've grown since you've been born. You know what I mean? So all your scars, all the marks on your body, everything that's happened, it tells a story of your growth. And you can take those pains, those things that are seemingly ugly, and look at them and see the beautiful river of stories that you have gone through. You know what I mean? And so and the goal of that song is to lead to restoration. Like, look at my body. I have all this going on. You may be fat. You've grown, but you've learned lessons. You can get healthier. You know what I mean? But there's a sense of, okay, this where I am. It's fine. It's beautiful. Now let's heal. Let's restore and move on. Another one, that's Trey Love, is about that, and just pushing a little bit further where it's coming from. Grow up very, very, very Christian, heavily influenced Christian. Only thing I listened to was Christian music, Christian rap, Christian, just gospel. Everything was that's all I knew, you know. So that's why I have the love as an action and not just an emotion, is based off of understanding of God and how He loves, and restoration that's also based off the Christ and the sacrifice. They're just being restored to wholeness, being restored to love, being restored to the proper order instead of the disorder of society, disorder of our own brain, disorder of our own heart. You know what I mean? I think one time I wrote in my bio, because I was trying to figure out cool thing to say, but it's like I view the character of Trey Love as God's embrace. That's one of my other goals. Is feel like God's comfortable embrace of it's not just like, oh, you're okay, you're just fine as you are. I love you as you are, but I want you better than you are. And so it's the I'm hugging you, I love you, my son, I love you, my daughter, but hey, like, it's cool, you've made mistakes, this has happened to you, but hey, we can take my hand, we can get going, we can keep moving forward. I'm with you all the way, just slowly guiding. That warm, soft, you've made mistakes. I love you no matter. I don't care. I care, but like we can keep moving. We got this. So God's embrace. Another way I would describe the goal of Trey Love is to allow people to have that message. And I don't always talk about Christ in all my songs, but ultimately that's where all the messaging's funneling through, coming from.
Okay. What do you mean when you say love as an action rather than like emotion? Because I feel like everybody, when they hear that, they can understand it a little, but can you explain that?
All right, this is perfect time to get into my marriage, everybody. All right, so let's put it like this. It's gonna be a long roundabout because I need it if we're going to talk about love in action. I got to push towards what it actually means, because I can do it short. I can do a little bit longer, give you a whole story, the horror story, the bad part of my marriage. So my wife and I, we met 2013. I was in high school, so that's when we started dating, and then we were on and off dating for years, and then one magical day, we decided to have sex, and she's pregnant now. She got pregnant, and I was like, oh man! But she got pregnant. She broke up with me. She broke up with me before I knew she was pregnant. And then like 2 months later, she's like, hey, I'm pregnant. I'm like, I don't know if it's mine. And so now I have to battle, because at that time I didn't like her. I was like, I don't want to be with you. I don't know if it's mine. I don't know what you've been out around doing. Maybe you're just trying to get back with me again. I don't know. And so then I had to debate what to do. It's like, okay, this is really my son. What's the right action? And praying, talk to my father, my mother, just trying to figure out what to do. They're like, hey, we'll support you, but talk to God, pray about it. Eventually, it went to summer. I joined the Army. My wife's name is Monica. Monica, like, we still weren't together. I went through basic, and then after a while, once I graduated from basic, graduated from officer candidate school, and like officially commissioned as an officer, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna try my best to do this, because at this time I really didn't like her. Because I'm not gonna go deep into all the things that happened led up to me. To the breakup, and to me not knowing if his kid was mine. You can assume things, but and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try to make this work, because like I know it's like in the part of the Bible, and I'm not gonna go to that part, but it's so going through. So I was like, okay, let's make it work. And now the way I'm gonna shorten it, and so we got married in 2019. It's currently 2023. For those 5 years were the worst 5 years of my entire life, being married to her. Like, starting in 2021, like after the first 2 years of marriage, I started going to counseling every single week. Because I went to the counselor. I was like, yo, I hate my wife. I see no value in her. I don't like her. She's useless. Damn. I think I can raise all these kids, because we also had foster kids at the time too. So I've had a total of 5 foster kids too. Damn. So my wife and I have had a total of 5 foster kids. And so like we had my son, my oldest son, who at the time was 2 turning 3. 2, and he was turning 3. We had 2 foster boys. I was like, I could do all this parenting by myself. She doesn't help. She uses, how do I find value in this woman? Because right now I hate her, don't want to be around her. And so I've been going, for the past 2 years, I've been going to therapy, trying to just, I've switched therapists. So like, I'll keep going. And once the therapist would tell me, hey, I think you should just get a divorce. I'll end that therapist, go to a different therapist. Like, it happened over and over again. Eventually, they got to say, oh, you should just divorce her. It doesn't sound like it's going to work out. And all the way up until, I think it was August, September. So I think it was all the way up till late September this year. Every therapist, all my friends, I'll tell them what's going on. They'll be like, oh yeah, no, I'll divorce that woman. Oh, I wouldn't do that. She did that to you. She did that to me. I wouldn't stand for that. She did that to me. I wouldn't stand for that. And eventually, I'm just trying to figure out, how do I love this woman? How do I be the best husband as possible? And eventually, I got to this final counselor therapist. awesome woman. I was explaining my whole sorrow, woe story. Oh, woe was me. She did this, and then she did this, and then she went back to do this, and I was trying my best, and then she, you know what I mean? Just all my woes, and once I started talking about, like, because my wife also stopped going to church and all that stuff. Yeah, and so, like, I was talking about, and I go to church. My wife doesn't go to church. We don't do anything together, yada, yada, yada. And she put down her notebook. She was like, oh, so you go to church? I was like, yeah. Do you take kids to church? I was like, yeah. I was like, your wife doesn't go to church? She was like, no. So she put down her notebook. She was like, okay, so here's the issue. You are undisciplined. I was like, what? She was like, yeah, clearly. It's like, very offensive, by the way. It's like, you're undisciplined. I was like, what do you mean I'm undisciplined? I kept talking about all the bad things my wife's doing. It's like, yeah, there's all those things, but what are you doing? Like, you're undisciplined in your Bible reading. You're undisciplined in your prayer life. You're undisciplined, like, physically. You're not disciplined because you're fat too, and just like you're just undisciplined in everything that you're doing.
Damn.
So you're not connected to God like you're supposed to. You say you are. You're trying to live like God, but you're not connected. You're not reading the Bible. You're not talking to God. You're not trying to listen to God. You're not meditating on the Word. These are things you're not doing. And so I was like, true. Very true. I'll take that. No one has ever told me that I was undisciplined. I mean, my father has said it, but that's dad. Dad's always saying stuff to try to, like, help you. And I'm like, okay, yeah, but somebody I met for the first time to immediately say they see the issues that I'm undisciplined in my walk with God, and just everything that I do is all the issues that she see, like why I cannot figure this out is because I'm undisciplined. I was like, okay, and so I started reading the Bible. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start from the beginning, and I'm gonna read to the end, a chapter a day. Went through Genesis, went through Exodus, and when I hit Leviticus, in Leviticus, those who don't know in the Bible, Genesis is the beginning, telling a story. Exodus is like the big story of Moses setting my people free, that whole big thing. And then once they go free to go out in the wilderness where God promised them to take them to the promised land, Leviticus is where God gives the Israelites laws, gives how to live as a people, as his chosen people. And in reading Leviticus and how God told people how to treat one another is where I realized my fault and not truly knowing how to love my wife. Because, like, I was looking for, like, because love, you say, it's a feeling. I had no feeling of love. I didn't want to spend time with her, didn't want to touch her, I wanted to have sex, but anywho, besides that, I didn't want to touch her. You know what I mean? And so I got to a part where it was, so with the Jews, God had issued, like, they had to do certain sacrifices. So if you committed a sin against your neighbor, you had to do this sacrifice. You did this, you had to do this sacrifice for the atonement of your sins. Some where you do wrong. So, but it had said, for guilt and a sin offering, that you're supposed to sacrifice, asking God to forgive you. He said, but before you even dare come to the temple to offer that sacrifice, before, like, you can bring it to the temple before the sacrifice can even be done, you need to go back and reconcile the harm you've done to your neighbor, to the people that you live with. You got to fix those issues of how you of the harm. Once you realize you made a mistake, go back and fix those issues before you come to me asking for forgiveness. And reading that part, it, like, for some reason, God just opened my mind, like, boosh, and, like, showed me all the parts of where I was wrong and not loving her in action. So that's a long way around to talking about love is action. And so what opened my mind, I was like, oh, okay, so what are the actions of? So I looked at it and said, oh, so my wife did all these things, but I chose not to show her love because I didn't like her. So I didn't try to spend time with her, which was, I didn't try to spend time with her, although I hated every time we spent time together. I didn't try to do the things that I know she enjoyed as a sign of love. So what I started doing is, okay, I don't like her, I hate knickknacks, blah, blah, but this is how she likes to be shown love. So I started buying her, what was I buy? Just little gifts. So she likes little gifts. I bought her like a little weird gift toy owl, and then I bought her a charcuterie board because I know she likes cheeses. I brought her the charcuterie board. She was like, I don't like fancy cheese. I just like cheddar. Like, I was like, I spent all this money charcuterie board, and then like she was like, but thank you anyway. Then she gives me a call later, and she's like, actually, I did like it. Thank you. It's like this is actually a great experience. I would not have done this for myself. And like I started doing a whole bunch of tiny things of actions because I didn't want to do it. While I was doing these actions, I know that she would enjoy to help reconcile all the things. I wouldn't do anything for her before. I started reconciling. I was like, okay, I'll do this little action, do this little action. Then I also started spending time with her. I was like, hey, let's go on. I know you kept complaining about your weight. Hey, let us go on walks together. I started doing things to serve her as a sign of love. Like, okay, how can we get to your, like, let's do these things together. I got you this, I got you that. Oh, you need more time here. And so I did start making little changes of way. I can go into deeper details later, but so to show signs of love. And then a week ago, she sent me an email after she's like, I don't know what's changed about you, but I just want to say this. It is an honor to have you as my husband. And that like broke my heart when I got that email from her. I don't know why she sent us email, but she did. and I was like, oh, God's word, like God's direction. Like I kept reading through Leviticus. He just tells a whole bunch of how to treat one another. And like that just helped. Those actions, those firm actions of like reconcile what if we've done harm, find a way to reconcile it, or despite it doesn't matter your feelings, it's really the actions. So love as an action. I don't know how long that spiel was. Hopefully it was coherent, but if it wasn't, oh well, too late. It's recorded. But yeah, love it as an action refers to so it doesn't matter how you feel, but what do you know is right to do for the betterment of that person, do things that are going to help the person, assist the person, because it doesn't matter if you hate them or not. There's actions you can do that actually show love. So like I said for my wife, like I guess I need to get thrown in another situation, but it's looking at the situation and say, what can help this person in this way, or what can brighten their mood in some sort of way. Like you think of like great Southern hospitality, is things that they do to make you feel warm, make you feel better, because they could hate you but that you don't know, because they're things you think about love or beautiful things are all action based. It's not a feeling. The actions give a feeling, and eventually but you assume it comes from a feeling to begin with, but any sort of like it shows of love, displays of affection, it's all action things that would lead to someone doing things you believe will make someone feel like they are loved. Like it's the action, like what do I think would make you feel loved? Okay, I'm gonna do that, but it's not in a way to get something out of it in the end, because there's manipulation where you can do that, but like where you're not trying to get something from it, you're just trying to serve, you're trying to get the best part for them, like what is best for them in the end, even if they hate you for it, because there's also signs of love, like, but you're doing the right thing, they want to do something, but you're like, no, that's bad. Like I can go to kids right immediately. She was like, oh, I want to eat candy. Like, no. So that's like the easiest one to go to, but as far as dealing with adults, there's things that are I gotta think a little bit too hard to figure out that one. Not right now. I'll think hard later.
Hopefully
I answered your question.
Yeah, man, absolutely. That was crazy. Thank you. That was dope. So what spurred you when you did start to make it was the final. When was the last therapist you talked to?
So
the lady who said that?
So I had like 5 appointments.
No
appointments with her. But it was like in September is like when it started. But like September this year, so it's end of November right now. Yeah. So like 2 months ago.
Not that long.
Hey, so but it was like her let me know I was undisciplined. For some reason that like it just clicked. I was like, I am like, look at my life, like everything that has gone, not everything, a lot of things that are going wrong just in my life, other than how my wife responds to me, things that I control, it's because I've been undisciplined. I was getting like, I was thinking it was up to 5,000 streams a month, and then I stopped releasing music. I stopped posting on social media, so my music trajectory has dropped off because I've been undisciplined. I let the woes of life take over. My son's having attitude issues and yelling is because I've been undisciplined, haven't been spending the proper time with them to help develop them and correct them, and I've been letting things slide that aren't supposed to slide. So their attitude issues is because I've been undisciplined. Me getting fat, not having muscles like I used to because I've been undisciplined. Everything I could, and then me not knowing what to do in this situation, how to show love. It's because I've been undisciplined, not connecting with God. I go to church, I talk about God, but I have been reading the Word, have been meditating the Word, have been doing the things properly to do to represent who I say I'm supposed to represent. You know what I mean? I'm
Interesting.
So all it was sparked with, I've been undisciplined. And how do you, if you want to be better, like you said, you're building a production company, basically. With the interviews, we want to do music videos. In order to get to where you need to get to, you have to be disciplined and diligent with everything you do with the but you also, even timing up your sleep is part of discipline. I want to keep working, It's like, no, I got to be disciplined to get the proper sleep so I can function properly. So everything, so if you let all that slip, you're not going to reach where you are supposed to be. You're not going to reach where you want to be. And so everything is about, it really does, a lot of things stem from discipline. Even things like the things you can't control, you can, like I said, my wife has changed so much in the past 2 months since I became more disciplined in my reading and disciplined in how I love her, disciplined physically, because I lost 20 pounds so far since I started trying to be more disciplined. And my wife started going to church because she saw me get dressed. She's like, oh, you look good. You know what? I'm going to start coming to church now. I was like, hey, man, whatever it takes. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so she's like, hey, you're starting to look good. You know what? I'll go to church. I don't want any other women around you. I know you're good. I know you. and so it's like the discipline. It will affect things that you don't think you don't have control of, but you'll have influence over other people by being more disciplined. Yeah. So my therapist telling me I'm undisciplined, and my walk with God, like boom, like a shotgun to the face, and like brain just exploded. Got in and got a new brand. Yeah. And I'm working on getting more disciplined in everything I do. So
that was kind of along the lines of my next question was, 2 months ago, was it a situation where it was like a light switch where it hit you and you realized it, or did it have to develop that discipline?
Oh, the discipline had to develop, but the understanding of how greatly I have failed, like, was that big discipline thing. And then I was like, oh, well. And then so immediately, the one thing I have been consistently disciplined is reading my Bible. It's like, okay.
You said you have or haven't?
I have every single day.
Within these past 2 months?
So, like, that's the one. Because I used to be like, oh, yeah, I read the Bible. Yeah. Like, but it wasn't consistent. I'll skip days. I'll skip weeks. But like, I'm like, every day thing now. Yeah. And so, like, that's the first thing I got disciplined at first. And, pardon me. I got that discipline first. And then I started adding on going to the gym every single day. Yeah. And then once I was at the gym, for some reason, the gym and the Bible put together, start feeling good, start understanding God better. And then it's like, then I understood how to love my wife better. So I've been more disciplined on doing the things that make, like, look at, because I honestly, there's still an issue because it's only been 2 weeks. I still don't really like spending time with her. But things are so much more better in the household. But like, I still spend time with her. Like, do the thing that she loves. Sex has gotten better though. That's what I do enjoy. Yeah. Sex has gotten better. But like, it's being more disciplined, showing how that she's loved, doing things, writing sweet letters and notes for her, leaving things. So discipline in making sure every day I find a way to display that she's loved and taken care of, and that she is mine. Because that was the biggest turnaround, was finding a way to show her that I value her as mine. Because before, I didn't care what she did. I didn't want to claim her as my own wife. Actually, I didn't wear my wedding ring. Because I hate how it feels on me, but I didn't care too much about her or claiming her as mine. I wouldn't call her my wife, which is sometimes I call her my wife in like social circles, but I would call her just Monica. I just hey Monica. I wouldn't call her dear or wife, anything endearing to show that she is part of me. Like we are a together thing. And I started switching how I talk, switching how I do things, being more disciplined on how I speak to her in a way that will display that I want her a part of my life. Even when I don't really feel like it, but like she is like showing her that she's part of my life and I will claim her as mine. So like that has also been a big switch to how she's starting to behave. She's starting to behave in a manner that is more loving, more endearing. She actually treats the kids better. Like
that's amazing.
So like she has a temper, so she'd get very angry with the kids, but her temper has gone down. Yeah. So I don't know if I answered your question or not, but I was like, yeah, it's just so all around,
One thought that came into my mind is my kind of philosophy and thought with discipline is that you have to do it in order to get the motivation to have discipline. Like you have to start it you have to start doing it when there is none, and that will bring the motivation. So with that situation, it kind of sounds like the motivation, a better word would be like the reason or the why or the incentive, the reason. It seemed like that struck you and that allowed the discipline to like flourish. Do you think it's possible? I don't know. I guess, do you think it's possible for both to happen or what?
To have discipline and not want to be disciplined, or not to have the flourishing.
So like if for somebody who's having trouble being disciplined, maybe they just don't have a reason, they just like, there's nothing. You obviously had a reason, you had a reason that you were pursuing that reason for a long time.
And I just I was pursuing for a long time. Oh my goodness. horrible years. But yes, active pursuit, which I guess I was disciplined trying to pursue, but I just wasn't not disciplined in the right areas, you know what I mean? But
that is a good point.
Is it possible? I mean, of course, ultimately you kind of need something to like, I'll say even drag you to the point of wanting to be disciplined. Because there's of course, discipline is a choice. It's an action, but it's like you there has to be something that helps, that gives you that drive, because people can be disciplined because of pain, either they fear, abuse victims specifically, they can be very disciplined because they don't want to get abused. But or people who are, let's say, fresh young teenage lovers, they're disciplined in doing a whole bunch of things because I want to impress her, I want to do this. So there's always a drive. But if people without hope, hope is either hope or fear. Hopefully hope is one you're using. But if you don't have hope, from my understanding, it's almost impossible to be disciplined without hope. Hope that you can get to the spot you're being disciplined to eventually get to. You know what I mean? Like before, when I would try to lose weight, horribly, I'll lose hope really fast because it'll be hard and it'll be like, I'm not seeing results. And I don't want to do all that other stuff, and it's not worth the energy, and so you'll lose this one because you lose hope of getting to your end result. And then back in 2021, I even got divorce paperwork done. I didn't even turn it in or whatnot, but I had it had it done, but I didn't do anything with it. But if I had lost hope even more, I wouldn't have gotten to put a discipline of wanting to learning to love my wife and all that type of stuff. And so but I had enough hope there that we can figure this out. I can figure out how to be a better husband, how to do something. I have no way of changing her, but I have hope there's a way that something will change. So without that hope, you won't really have discipline, or without fear. But hope is a better use of your time and energy than fear.
Yeah. So I think the question I think I did not word the question well.
Okay.
I know. Yeah, I appreciate you. you kind of like don't. You were like I could tell that. Thank you. I appreciate that. You kind of saved my question.
You're welcome.
So I think a better way I should have asked it is advice. I guess.
Okay,
so
okay.
I probably should have gone that direction with the question instead. So people who are trying to become disciplined, because like I feel like I'm disciplined in some areas I'm definitely not, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I never really looked at the hope aspect of it. I guess what would you, without like, I don't know, I guess, what would you suggest?
So with being, as if we're just being general without a specific thing, the best general thing to even getting to hope is community. So like if you, it's like said, you and Dank work very well together. If y'all build a team of working together, that hope of getting to where y'all want to be as directors of photography and like videography and all that stuff will grow even better, because you have two people wrestling, fighting together.
Yeah,
you'll be more disciplined. Oh, you're working on that, I'll work on this, and blah blah blah. You'll bang these out. But you have that community. That community will bring hope and will allow you to be more disciplined, because they're like, hey, you're slacking here, or you're slacking here. That's where the therapist was part. Like I would say, she was part of my team, part of that community, and like I was searching for community, searching for a team. And I consistently had my brothers, my fathers, my mother, who were on my side trying to give me hope. And so that kept me going to have that hope there to eventually get to discipline. But the therapist was part of my team who had that final spark. So if you lack discipline, you want to have discipline, but you don't have hope of getting to where you want to be, you should try to find a community that is pushing towards that goal, or build a community pushing that goal to help give you that hope that will motivate you in a positive way to keep moving forward. You're moving together. Like they'll take you by the hand, like, look, brother, sister, let's keep moving. You know what I mean? Yeah. So community is really a great way to start going to discipline. Find the correct community that will push you in the right direction. So speaking of community, where we actually met, Hawaii upcoming artists, like that's a great example. This is of like, if you want to, like, songwriters want to be better songwriters, performers, being around other rappers, performers, videographers, like, oh, I can be like, what are you doing? How are you so great? How can I be great like you? And they do this, and this. So you being in a community of better people, you can maybe you want to write more songs, you want to perform better, be more entertaining on stage, or be more live, or be like this and that and another. Those type of communities, like, eventually, like, the whole community is going to get better because they get more disciplined. Oh, I see what you're doing. You're successful. Let me try to work on that. Oh man, I'm struggling. Hey, you can do it. You do this. Hey, let's walk together. We'll write some things together. Let's send songs back and forth every single week or every couple of days. Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And those communities will motivate you to So community is really ultimately the best way to, if you lack discipline, you lack like that motivation. Well, if your motivation is not good enough, finding community will help guide and push you in the right direction.
Interesting.
If you're in a good community, of course.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. That's concrete.
Indeed.
I feel like a lot of times when I ask for advice in places, I feel like a lot of times in general, when people ask for advice wherever, they might get like support. But I like that because that's steps. I'm not great at thinking, so I need stuff to be pretty clear, and I like that. I really appreciate that answer. That's dope.
Yeah. See, I feel like I'm not great at thinking either, and like I need that. That's why I was like, that was why I kept asking. That's why I went to therapy so many times, because like trying to figure out steps in order for me to figure out how to love my wife. Yeah. And the Bible gave me the steps I needed, actually. Yeah. But yeah, I'm with you there. I needed those steps.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
So how we first got onto that topic was before this interview started. We were talking about music, and I forget what topic we're on specifically. Oh, I think it was just like this past year working in like productivity,
being the military, like finding time to do music, or find time to do interviews, to do all the artistic energy. Stuff.
How do those two relate?
Discipline in military, or music
or your music. How does this relate to this whole topic of discipline, your marriage, time, energy, military?
Oh man, it's a huge part of my life. So me, how do I want to phrase it? Okay, so the music relating to discipline, my marriage. So I've been actually, since my marriage has gotten better, I've been writing a little bit more love songs though. Not released. I have some in the bank ready to go. I've had this one song that Jacoby, Jacoby?
Yeah.
So Jacoby and I, Obi-Wan Jacoby, for those on the screen.
Shout out.
Shout out to Obi-Wan Jacoby. Look him up if you don't know him. He's amazing. His beats have gotten much better. I went to his producer showcase a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah, on the 18th.
Eric. That would look.
Eric's awesome too.
Yeah, both of them. They got so much better since the last time I worked with them. Phenomenal artists and musicians. Those two.
Yeah, they're great.
But Jacoby and I have been working on this song for almost a little over 2.5 years.
Damn.
And so it went from not a breakup song, but a kind of like a complaint about how just the depressed, how I feel my marriage is going, because I think it was back in 2021 when we started. So about 2 years, and I still I had gotten divorce papers and all that stuff, but I didn't turn them in. I just had them. It was just on my mind. So it was kind of like we filmed it too. I think it was on Instagram. I was doing Instagram live while we were recording. I had stopped in the middle of recording the vocals, and I just start crying, just how emotionally it just deep and distressed I was, and then I was like, let's try to make it happier. And then we did 3 different versions before we got to the one that we are doing now, which more of a still a love song, but it's I realized some of the issues I was having, because I also have a hero problem, a hero syndrome,
complex.
Hero complex, yeah. I have a hero complex, and that's kind of how I got into the trouble that I am now with the marriage. Is because my wife struggles with depression, all that stuff. I was and I'm generally a very happy guy, and so in high school, I have hope. She said I can, and I'm a happy guy. I can fix her. Too easy. You cannot fix her. But what you can do is walk alongside her and be a light to my old self and to young heroes out there. Young heroes out there. You can't fix people, but you can walk alongside them and bring a light. And then try to uplift people. That's what you can do, but you can't fix nobody. You can offer help and love, and finding the actionable steps will be useful, and then finding a community to help keep you lifted up and motivate you, give you energy will be useful too. Anywho, So military has very little to do. I don't really write too much about people in the military. I have one song, little bit about it, because a lot of soldiers. I have one song called "Get Wet." Basically, it's about soldiers going to a strip club or living a little bit reckless lifestyles. That's what I'm kind of talk about. But for most part, my songs are based off. I write them based off the people that mostly women actually that are in my life. I write a lot of songs based off their life experiences, what they're going through, because most of my listeners are women. So yeah, it actually kind of works out. So and I write stories based off the women I'm interacting with, because I don't know, women are beautiful, cool creatures, and then they're also very emotional. And when they speak, you speak with so much emotion and enthusiasm. I may disagree wholeheartedly with some of them say, but the emotion they come through, it inspires me to write certain songs about different things. And I write a lot about, but besides that, I also write a lot about my family. Family life deals heavily into what I write about. I guess I have to give examples. Let's see, I already talked about Flex Marks. That one's very heavily woman related. Then I had another song called Bloody Feet, which is actually about discipline and spending time with my family.
Yeah.
That one. I don't think I'm answering your question very well at this moment. It's kind of floating off. I'm not answering very well, but
I am
that's okay.
totally fine with that.
Yeah, we'll let that one fly away next time. But very little to do with the Army. A lot dealing with the personal issues that most of the people that I spend a lot of time with, which is my female friends. And most of my Army friends I don't spend a lot of time with, but so it's my female friends and of course my musician friends, dealing and then listening to the stories we're going through in life and sitting down writing things to help. Like I said, my goal is like God's embrace, God's hug, and it's like to deal with love and restoration. So if I hear stories, okay, what is the message that could offer a feeling of love and like actions of love, and then leading towards restoration in some way, shape, or form. And
So 2 questions.
Oh yeah.
The first one is, when you when someone's in a place where they can find that discipline, like you found in these past couple months, and that you've been working towards and achieving and building.
Yeah.
What is your plan / what plan do you suggest to keep that going? Or
Oh, well, I know it's going to sound like a broken record, but community.
Yeah.
It's it's actually pretty simple. So like so having that discipline, so you're gonna, so like you have the motivation, like, yo, things are going well, but things aren't gonna go well for long.
Yeah, exactly.
Because people are gonna die, things are gonna happen, you're gonna get hit with random things, maybe a toothbrush, I don't know, and so something's gonna happen that's gonna try to throw you off your discipline. Yeah, and it will throw you off of like, you will get thrown off, especially depending on how long it's been going. But like I said, if you are intent on at least one thing when it comes to discipline, is building the community and staying with the community and coming back like, hey, I've slipped up. Having a community and accountability. Yeah, there's the word, accountability. Oh, yeah. That's what the community comes in handy, is accountability and motivation. Yeah. So right now, my as far as like accountability, besides my wife, because as soon as I like stop showing her love, she's probably going to say something. But besides that, I have my brothers, like my actual biological brothers, that I talk to, like, hey, I've been doing this, I've been reading the Bible. I talk to my mother, talk to my father, and then I also have one of my buddies, Jay Minor. He's a musician as well out here. Yeah. So I talk with him. He doesn't come out and perform a lot, but I talk with him. He keeps me disciplined, and so having that community of people who can hold you accountable to your actions and what you're doing is what is going to help when you start slipping. They can be gentle or not gentle, depending on what you need, and bring you back. Like, hey, yo, we got it. Come on. You're slipping, brother. You're slipping. Let's get it. You know what I mean? Pull you back up. So it's all, community is a huge force. We're social creatures. So community is highly necessary. Being alone is a death. Yeah. Really. It's needed to be alone sometimes, but gotta come back out. Yeah. Hopefully I answered that question.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to switch the batteries real quick. Camera just died like 10 seconds ago. And then we'll get back into it with the second question. All right. And we're back.
Indeed.
So the second question that I wanted to ask after that last one was, you mentioned it a couple times now about restoration. And at the very beginning, you said about restoration, you mentioned how... paraphrasing, you mentioned how like everything's like a little broken, or everybody's a little broken. I don't know if that's a good paraphrase, but could you explain that a bit more?
About what I mean by restoration, or like what do I mean by people are broken?
I guess both. Just like what do you mean restoration? Like
so my worldview, my understanding is that there is a proper order that would allow most things to flourish, like, well, everything to flourish the right way. There'd be like just So yeah, there's a proper order like of the mind. There's a proper order of how you organize life. Proper order of how you treat people. Proper order of how to exercise. There's a proper way to do things and a proper order. And what I mean by everything's broken is a lot of things are in disorder. Like mental, like I was saying, like mentally, mental disorders it's a whole thing. Things are not operating like how they're supposed to be. Physically, there's pains and ailments based off not eating correctly, not doing things correctly. There's mental disorders based off a disordered family. Like having a disordered family can induce mental disorders in the children because of abuse, because of neglect, which falls into abuse. People just, and then a lot of times we just in our own minds we beat ourselves up. We have our own we give ourselves some form of, we're in a disorder in a sense of like we beat ourselves up. We do not allow ourselves to flourish because the ways we think, the ways we behave, and how we allow life to affect us. And what I mean by bringing restoration is to set things into its proper place, proper order, which we were just talking about love. But in so many aspects in life, like we have a goal, we want to do something, but because it's not ordered the right way, we can't get there. You know what I mean? If you so ultimately, that's what restoration is: bringing everything to a proper order so that it's healed. So like you have a broken arm, it's in disorder. You realign the arm, you allow it to heal, it goes to the proper order. You know what I mean? So that's my goal, is to offer an opportunity for the listeners to choose to lead to order, because that's my messaging is always about, is leading to the proper order of healing and thinking. Change the way you're thinking, change the way you're behaving in a way. And my goal is not to be preachy about it. That's always like, because preachy people get kicked away, but having the walk, like, hey, let's talk about it. Hey, how you talk about this idea is what ultimately my goal is, that bring to heal and bring to the proper place, proper order, proper light. You know what I mean? Hopefully I answered that question well.
So going back to the beginning now, and then I'm gonna circle back around, stepping into the topic of music.
Okay.
When did you start making music?
So when I started making music back in January of 2020, when I got to this island in December of 2019. Then January, I was like, well, I've been thinking about making music for so long, but my fear, like, wanted to do music, wanted to make movies, but I had the fear of failing, I guess, and being embarrassing and yada yada. But I got it here, have a job, have a little bit of money. Like, you know what? If I keep living my life in fear of me failing, I'm never going to get to where I want to be. So I'm going to just try. If it doesn't end up working out, it's okay. I'm still back at the same spot. So I'm going to do this for fun. And so 2020, I met up. I was looking for a producer. That's why I ran into Eric Dubois, EDP Beats. And he kind of put me down the line of going music. I was writing poetry, at first, because I have an issue. Have less of an issue, but I had an issue with not being able to communicate well. So I wanted to fix that issue so I could communicate better with my wife. And so I was writing poetry. He's like, you know what? Let me set it to music. You know what I mean? And that's where I ran into Eric. And then he was like, no, you should just rap it. I was like, okay. And then the pandemic happened. I wanted to make more music, but I couldn't get in the studio. And so I bought FL Studio. And I started making my own beats and stuff and writing my own songs. And I'll send it to, there's a lot of like review channels. And I'll send it to different review channels. And they'll be like, this is pretty bad. What critique do you really want? What part of it? Because I can critique a lot of spots, but where do you want to start first? We'll talk about that. And so I got a lot of those like responses. Just like, and then when Hawaii started opening up a little bit more, I started going out to open mics and just performing there. And that's where, what word was I saying? That's really where I started to actually define and refine my style. Because you can make music by yourself and then you can post online and people will be like, oh yeah, that's good. Oh yeah, that's trash. Oh yeah, you should never do anything ever again in life. But it's just quick feedback. But if you perform I learned performing in front of people, that's when I find out how good my stuff actually is. Like watching the people respond, I discover like, okay, they responded to this part. Oh, they liked that part. Oh, they didn't respond to that. Okay, that was pretty trash. Oh, they were silent the entire song, and it's like they're checking their phones. So like, okay, well, this is not good. Not gonna post this song. And so by performing every month, every 2 weeks, I went to a lot of open mics in 20 or whenever it opened up, whether 2020 or 2021, whatever it was. I went to a whole bunch of open mics just to perform. Just to get out there, because I'm a shy person naturally. I may not seem like an introvert, but that's because I don't know. My father helped me out of it. He was like, "You're not going to be introverted," and so, but I had to get over my shyness, and so go out, perform, and I started developing how I write my lyrics, how I make my beats. Is all based off in my experience performing my stuff in person. Like, okay, people respond when I do this. People respond when I say this. People respond better when I speak like this. Oh, people like it when my voice goes a little deep. Okay, yeah, I'll go a little deeper in certain parts. Oh, they don't like it when I go too high. You know what I mean? And, singing, I can sing a little bit on these certain parts. Oh, this type of drum pattern they like a lot, and it makes it's intriguing to them.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so most of the time I don't use other people's beats, not anymore. I have a few producers come to me who want to work with me to actually make stuff, but like for most part I still make my own stuff just because performing in front of people, I've just learned how I rap, how my voice sounds works well with certain type of beats.
Okay,
I'm trying to be a little bit more willing to listen to other people and work with other people's beats. It'll just make my process faster if I can. But I still haven't seen any good responses from me over other people's beats. Some reason it just I haven't found the right other producer yet. But yeah, I started 2020, and then I went to a whole bunch of open mics and performing in front of people. And when people started coming up to me after my performances, that's where I was like, okay. And they asked me questions about certain parts. That's really defined the Trey Love style that is eclectic. To say the least. Because most people are like, who if they listen, they're like, I'm not entirely sure. Some parts they're like, okay, you're a rapper. Other people are like, I don't know what style of music you are making. Because my wife describes it as like a melodic talking. And not like it's not rapping, you're not singing, it's like a melodic talking. I was like, I don't know how to take that. But okay, I guess you're saying I'm not a rapper. I'll work on my rapping then. It's like it's his own style. It's like, but yeah, she's like describes it as melodic talking. Now a few other people that came up to me was like, yeah, it's kind of like a melodic. It's a little melodic ish, but yeah, melodic talking has been the most common phrasing I've heard of it. Funny. I was like, okay, all right, whatever. I thought I was a rapper, but it's cool. That's
funny.
But yeah. And I guess that's also where a lot of my influences of how I write come, like what topics I write about. Because, go to open mics, people are spilling their feelings with the song. So I'm like taking notes. I'm going to write a song about that. I'm going to write a song about this. Now I write the song, like, that song didn't come out as I expected. Keep on moving. And then I think short and simple. That's about it. About like when I started. Big change happened last year when I went out to LA for a songwriters workshop, and I met some phenomenal songwriters. I'm like, do I even have a chance? But then they will listen to my stuff and they're like, oh, you're so good at these parts. And they point out things that I personally was good at and my skills and like where my skills lied. And so so the part was just having a deeper voice. You can have some fun with that. But the biggest things they pointed out actually as my skills musically is not my ability to perform or make music, but my ability to work with because we did group writing with other people, but my ability to work with other artists and bring out the best in what they're doing. They're like, that was like my biggest the biggest asset I brought to any writing group when I was in was I brought a whole new level out of the people I worked with, and people liked working with me, not because I was the greatest on the guitar, greatest on the keys, greatest singer, greatest else. My process is heavily on defining who you like. I love working with artists. It's like, okay, what do you have and how can we make it greater? Oh, let's try this and pull this out, and like I'll pull things out of people that they didn't know they had in them. And so kind of like an A&R and like artist development is like the part that was like the biggest compliment I got was that ability to work with artists and pull something completely new out of it and change the direction and then make it something cool and sounds good and phenomenal. Along with my writing is pretty good, but that was it was like, okay, that's good, but this part here you're doing actually pretty well. And which falls into what we were talking about before we started recording, was being a film director. Being a director, I have all these different artists who are like doing who are actors are artists, videographers are artists, people who set up the stage, who write the scripts. It's all about working with those artists and pulling the film director's job is to pull, like, to not only have the vision of an overall product, but pull the best out of each of these assets that he's working with, so he gets the best art from every single one of them, and then fuse it all together. You know what I mean? Like the video editor is his own artist, and that's kind of like, and so that skill was like pointing out the most, like what I was really good at. Which then leading into other stuff, but music. Staying a little bit on the music topic. That's my music round. Any other questions?
So, tiny question first. Yes. Every time I hear it, I forget what it means. A&R. What does that stand for again?
Artist and A&R is like artists and records. Their job used to be artist development. They help choose the songs that will come out in the record label, or they'd help artists develop their project and make it as best as possible.
Okay.
So that's kind of like the A&R's job. Yeah.
I see that and hear that, and I hear it and learn it, what the acronym means, and every time I forget it. And then
I mean, you just don't know what they do. So their main job is helping choose tracks, helping develop the whatever the artist work on, making the project as best as possible, assisting the artist to get it to its peak that it could be.
Yeah, I get that.
And sometimes have a hand in choosing artists for a label.
Okay.
So they're supposed to have a really good ear with talent and working with talent, build with talent, and bring the best out of the talent.
Yeah.
So
can you tell me a little bit about you and your aspirations and your work towards being a film director?
Yeah. All right. So my goal in 10 years is to be a film director. Well, it's like, oh, you're a musician right now. What are you doing? Why aren't you making films? Because I enjoy making music. Here's the progress I see. Here's the steps. Work on my music, get my music popping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And transition from just making music to making songs that tell a story. You know what I mean? So switching over from just making music to making musicals. You know what I mean? So from making music to musicals, and so it'll be a full play and like but we were talking about film. I'm planning on to film it and like put it. It's not making music videos, but it's making short stories that are musicals and doing episodic series.
Oh, I didn't know you meant short stories that are musicals.
Yeah. So it's like that's the transition from the music into the film.
Yeah,
that's what I eventually want to be, and I still want to I like music. So, but using the talent I have now, which is the music, and that's what the entertainment that's been working on the past 3 or 4 years, I guess. 2020, yeah. Past since 2020, taking that talent and applying it into the next venture I want to be in. And so develop musicals, develop talent, working on my storytelling, but also using the making bangers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So would it be like a classical, not classical, like traditional type musical songs? Almost like classical music maybe, or something like that? Or would it be like your style infused with it?
Of course it would be my style.
Hell yeah.
So my goal will be like, it'll still be like a rap, pop, singing type of thing going on, or it's telling a story. So like, my first goal is to like, it's a series of songs that expresses the emote, because song is like an instant in a story. Like a song is like just one instant of like emotions in the story, unless you're Nas, where you can tell a whole story in the song. But that's different. But it's like, it's taking those emotional hit points and stories and turning that into songs, and then laying that out as an album, but having the music videos to kind of explain the story that is going on. You know what I mean?
I like that.
And then tell the story, and then eventually I'd like to. I'm working on actually is I'm writing. I told you I've written 2 films right now, but I'm trying to write it so I'm working on just getting practice on script writing and telling stories. And so eventually it's to make a play, and that's a play where I can work with producers, get a whole bunch of artists together. We can make these songs and have a musical. We can go perform. That's another way, go out, perform, do plays. People buy tickets for. It's a concert, but it's a play. So there's a whole story that goes more than just people like, hey, come listen to me sing my songs. Yeah. It's cool, but hey, listen to me sing my songs, and it's a story. So there's adding more value to how we're entertaining people, because right now we're on a lower level, and so I think it'll be a good way to work with other artists to bring together, like, hey, let's get some money, work on your songwriting skills, but we can tell a story and lift up. Like, we can bring more of us up together. We can bring more value to the community. We're offering more than just, oh, my music's awesome. It's like, my music's awesome, but I have a story to tell. I have emotions I want to share with you. Let's take this ride together. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's my eventual goal. Yeah. I was going to say hello.
Yeah. Hi, babe. This is Tracy. Trey Love.
Aloha. Hello.
We've been trying to get interviewing for a minute now.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then so eventually from doing that to plays, and then I'll have enough. My goal is to eventually, like, within 3 years, have enough repertoire from that to go on to then make full-length films. But actually, another part of my goal is, like, as I work with artists, like lower-level artists, I want to be able to, like, before I go to do full-length films, I want to get to, like, start working with, like, smaller indie record labels and work with their artists to do. I think it'll be really cool working with, like, a whole bunch of different, like, hey, let's work with I don't have any record labels off the top of my head right now, but it's like, just work with different record labels, indie record labels. Like, hey, I've been doing these plays with these smaller artists around here. Can I use, and like, record labels typically have their own audience already inbuilt, right? Yeah. So especially indie ones. So hey, this is a way for your artists to get some more money. We can do plays, and we can do stuff like offer as like a service to them, and then I'll write songs with them. We can release plays, like they can go tour. They'll go on a tour, but it's not just it's a tour, but it's a play, so it can attract more. It's more story focused, and I do that a whole bunch of different record labels as well, and just kind of work my way up, down, and just have those stories, and then eventually do it as like a film type of thing too. So that's another aspiration, and I don't know which direction, because I mean that I could still do that and do like feature-length films, but like I think it'll be really cool because I like working with artists so much, and so I don't, and so that's. Yeah. Another one of my goals, just gets me so excited, and like I have something about my goal, but like right now, like I told you earlier, so I'm working with a film director right now on the story, on like script writing and being a better storyteller. And so once I get to a point where actually my stories are good, then I can start. Then I'm gonna do stories myself and like show just with my, like, making an album and make it a story, entertaining, you know what I mean? And then start and bring in more and more artists. Then work with different record labels, and then get like with the proof that all these things are working. So switching from, it's still in the entertainment industry, but switching from music to being a film director is my ultimate goal. And keep people entertained and lessons learned, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And add value to all the other artists I'm around, not just I like to bring people with me. I love to work for other people, bring them up, bring them with me, try to get everyone different things to do.
Yeah. I like that. I can't think of any artists who have done anything like that, like musicals with an album or anything like that. That's real cool.
Yeah, so I just needed, like we were talking about earlier, discipline. I need to just be disciplined to actually working my way there.
It's a bunch of baby steps.
It's a bunch of baby steps. It's really, like, honestly, it's really not that complex. I'm just, in my mind, I'm making it harder than it needs to be. It's just like, hey, you know how to write a story. Like, the first ones don't need to be good. As long as I make the music, because I already been making music, my music has to be good, and the story can be, I just need to start doing and taking action and like release it, and then people are like, oh, I like that idea, and I bring more artists with me. We can start building it to be something more full, you know what I mean? But I'm just, the issue, I also have an issue, like one reason I also don't release a lot of songs is because it takes me so long to make one song. Like I said, the song I just finished this past weekend, it's 2 years to get that done. And like it takes me months to like get to a point with a song, like, okay, I'm comfortable to release it. And like I'm producing it and everything, so it's like it's a lot on me, but I pass it around. I hold on to things for too long, and so I want it to be perfect when it doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs, I need to take action and do, and as I start releasing and doing more people come along to take over the parts where I'm weak at. That's actually the big thing.
Putting together a team like that.
Start building a team, and so it's just taking the action. I have a plan in my head. I just need to talk to the right people.
I mean, hypothetically, there's so much stuff that is theoretically easy, but easy is only considering the on paper part when it comes to everything. All that, the experience, the managing life while still doing that. Oof. Eesh. But yeah, that's awesome. So, with your music history that you've been forming, with your film work, all that, your script writing, everything, what do you think are some of the biggest lessons you've learned in these past few years doing all that?
I think the biggest one is actually understanding people. Like it's taking time to sit down and actually just listen and understand people. Because like, what am I writing a song for? I'm writing it for people. I'm writing for myself, but I'm also writing it for people. But if I don't understand people, how are they going to get the message I'm trying to send, or how am I know what message to even give to people? And like sitting down, listening, and understand people. And then like when I'm writing the script, I'm writing characters. These characters need to act like real people. Like people wouldn't do that, or like, you know what I mean? So like having an understanding of humans and people, not only like the problems they go through, but solutions that they need, or solutions they're looking for. If they don't need a solution, like we're looking for a solution, I may not have it, but I can actually introduce it into the story, but making it relatable and understandable, consumable for real people, not the imaginary people that I imagine will listen to it, but the people that are right in front of me, who are, like I said, doing open mics. Like it put me in front of real people,
that
and
perspective,
real emotions, real perspective, and they can talk. Like they're soft, fleshy creatures in front of me, not just robotic ones and twos. And so understanding people is like the biggest lesson I learned. Is you want to entertain, want to make music, you want to live life. Take time to sit down, listen, and understand people. Ask questions as well. Ask as many questions to people. That's what you do. That's what you're doing right now. It is like, it's just so anything, you have to understand people. Take time to understand them. Just focus on the art portion. Because then there's marketing, and that's
whole nother
that's
thing.
another skill need to develop. But as far as art goes, and that's actually the whole A&R portion I was talking about.
Yeah.
With like when I love working with artists because I'm working with real people, digging into like the emotions that they have, and like pulling it out. It's okay. What are we seeing? What are you visuals? Because I also wrote a song with a belly dancer where I was making the beat, making the music, and I would write. I was like, hey, what are you? So she was just freestyle dancing, and I would just. And as I would start writing how her body's moving, then I'll ask her questions like, "Hey, why are you moving like this? What is it, like? What are you picturing as you dance?" Oh, it makes me feel like this, makes me feel this, and I would change my lyrics and adjust things based on how she was moving. So it's like that, asking those questions to get to understand what's going on in the brain, what's going on in the brain, and understanding just the emotions and the flow. Because humans don't make sense, but you can pick up enough of the things that make no sense that's universal, and that's how you can like communicate through
that's a great
silliness. So
that's been a key part to me is, and I feel like improving a lot of my work is just understanding. Yeah, like you said, like a lot of the things that are universal, recognizing those within myself. Also, you know what helped me was memes. This is weird. But seeing how like at some point it kind of clicked to me, like when I would start thinking about like why people like memes, and it's because a lot of them are so relatable. That was just and it's kind of obvious, you know, but it helped me start to understand like why things were relatable, and it helped me realize that like it gave me a new perspective on how I can view my own likes and interests and passions and my own like little like personality traits that after sitting down and looking at them, like aren't all that like unique in the grand scheme of things, you know? People are not that unique, you know? And we have people have unique, like that's dumb to say because people are unique, but
ultimately there's a lot of people that are like similar to each other.
Yeah, people's actions and likes, dislikes a lot of the time is real similar, you know? So like looking at that and seeing like, okay, well, like maybe like instead of looking at a lot of what I do as making a product, sometimes what helped me was like, okay, how can I actually frame this into something that I enjoy, you know? Because then like if I can genuinely look at it and be like, if I was scrolling and saw this or something, would I like it? Yeah. You know, or like would it annoy me? Because I see a lot of shit that just annoys me. So some in like No,
that's solid. That's solid.
Yeah. Yeah, man. We'll probably start to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you. Appreciate you, brother.
The last couple questions I always ask.
Okay.
1. What are your final words that you would like to leave our audience with?
All right. Well, guess we got to wrap it back to the beginning. The meaning of the purpose of Trey Love is, well, there's always an opportunity no matter what's going on in your life. Let's bring back the discipline. So final words. So wrapping up a lot of the portion so if you want to be disciplined, you need hope. Hope is a big thing, part of discipline. You need a community that desires to reach the goal. You need a specific goal to reach. So it helps with your discipline. It helps bring you that hope as you get closer. And then you need, inside your community, you need somebody a little bit closer to help hold you accountable to your goals and to your goals and help bring you up when you have those down times. You get punched in the face that you weren't expecting to get punched in the face, help you keep the fight going, and you help them keep the fight going as well. And then the end of all the phrase is that there's always hope for restoration, no matter where you are in life, no matter how far you've fallen, no matter how many scars you have, no matter how bad you messed up, there's always hope for restoration. It's not going to be easy. Like, don't get confused. Hope does not equal easy, but hope does equal like progress. You can restore, you can get back to a spot of order, to get back to a spot of peace, get back to a spot of love, and not only just emotion, but of action. And action is really a huge part of what you need for discipline, order, peace, peace, and love. Much love.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
And then with that, you can, if you have any specific songs or anything, videos, anything that you'd like me to play, I put like 3 to 5 snippets of like 10 to 20 seconds.
Okay.
Just to show some work in the beginning, some little samples. If you have specific songs, you can send me links, names.
Yeah, I have to send you links to a few of the songs. Yeah, it has to be the ones that are out right now. So all right, okay, yeah, I can send you some.
Bet, yeah. All right, sweet. And then back. So, the final question. Not really a question, but yeah. For anybody who might be driving or anything right now, not on their phone, whatever, could you give all your social media handles everywhere to find you out loud?
Yes. So on Instagram, it is Trey Love Music. So it's at TRE_LOVE_MUSIC. So that's for Instagram, and then I don't post on Twitter. Never mind. And then for YouTube, it is just search Trey Love, TRE_LOVE on YouTube, and you have to go to channels. Yeah, make sure you go to, like, when you press search, go to the filter and click channels, and then on all streaming platforms, it's Trey Love, TRE_LOVE. And if you can put the accent over the E, it's a accent that goes up. So Trey.
Sweet, man.
Indeed.
Well, I appreciate your time tonight. If you made it this far, really appreciate it. I hope that you enjoyed this. I appreciate like the authenticity and the openness, man. For real.
Indeed.
Yeah, I had a great time. Yeah.
OH.
Oh. He's from Cleveland. I'm from Columbus.
Yeah.
Shout out. It's a superpower.
Indeed.
They wouldn't know.
The Buckeyes can't beat them.
Hell yeah. All right. Whatever you're doing tonight, whoever's listening to this, tonight, this morning, whatever time it is, make sure you stay happy, stay disciplined, enjoy life.
Much love.
Yep.